Hey guys, it's Mimi Rose, and as you can tell by the title, I will be doing a story time of my labor and delivery with my 1-year-old son, who is currently 15 months. He was born on January 4th of 2018. His original due date was January 10th or 11th, and I actually got induced a week prior. A week prior to me having him, that Friday, I had a doctor's appointment. I was about 38 weeks, so it was my 38-week checkup. I had 2 weeks to go. The doctor advised me and my husband that she believed that the baby was getting too big. So at that point, he was roughly around 6 pounds, 6.5 pounds. But in her mind, she's thinking long term. So in another 2 weeks, how much is he gonna weigh? So she didn't want me to have to push out a big baby. So she advised us to schedule an induction so we can get induced actually that next day, which was January 3rd. I, of course, was nervous because I never thought my first pregnancy experience would be me getting induced. I was looking forward to my water breaking and just experiencing the whole nine, but it is what it is. I wanted a healthy baby at the end of the day, so if she believed that's what was best, then that's what we did. January 3rd, around 9 p.m., I headed over to the hospital. I did all my registration papers to get checked in, get my room, my triage room. It was nerve-wracking because I've never really been in the hospital for anything, so this was like a completely whole new experience for me in so many different ways, but I did have the support of my husband throughout the whole process. So that made it a little bit better to bear with. The first step that they did to try to get me induced, get my labor going, I don't remember the terms. I wish I did this video then. It's now 15 months later. But it was a string. I don't know what that was supposed to do, but they inserted a string to try to induce the labor. If anybody knows the term, please comment down below. But yeah, they inserted the string and it stayed there for about, I want to say, she put it in around like 10, 11 o'clock on the 3rd, January 3rd, and maybe 9, 10 o'clock, January 4th, she realized it wasn't really doing anything. So they tried, they referred to it as a balloon method. They put a balloon up there to try to, like, for gravity to make my water break. When I tell you that is the most painful thing I've ever experienced, that hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. Once they put it in, they have you sitting down at an angle. At least I was sitting down at an angle, and the balloon was just like the gravity was pulling to make my water break. It actually did help. I was 3 centimeters dilated after the balloon method, but after that they just sat me down for a few minutes because I was in so much pain. I was this close to asking for a epidural because I was in so much pain, and I was only 3 centimeters. The nurse was like, "Are you sure? You still have a long way to go." But I was in so much pain, so I was about to get it. But after another 20-30 minutes passed, the actual doctor that was checking on me throughout the whole process, she had went home, but while she was at home, she was monitoring my levels, the baby's heart rate, and all of that. So I guess she realized that the baby's heart rate was dropping, so she had a nurse come in and check it out. And being though that I was only 3 centimeters, they're thinking, if I'm only 3 centimeters, how is he gonna react to me being 8-9 centimeters? They're saying basically he was in distress. So that was very concerning. The doctor rushed back because it was like an alert mode, and my husband don't know what's going on. It's both of our first child, so we don't know what that means. So eventually they left the room and then came back, and then they came with two options for us. Either for me to get a emergency C-section because they didn't want to take the risk of anything happening by me having a vaginal birth. So they let us sit on that, think about it. They left the room. Me and my husband was going back and forth about it. My husband, from the get-go, before we got to the hospital, before they said I needed to get induced, my husband said he doesn't want me to have a C-section. So in his mind, he's like, no, you're not getting it, you're not getting it. But I'm like, basically our child's life is on the line, so you need to think smart in a situation like this, because he's in distress at 3 centimeters. He's in distress at 3 centimeters, so I'm not taking any risk. In my mind, I'm like, whatever I gotta do to get him here alive and safe and healthy, I'm gonna do it. So they came back in. I told them the decision. They got me prepped up. They had brought back a gown for my husband to wear with the little cap and the caps around his shoes. Like, he got to be covered fully. They left him in the room, the triage room, and they rolled me out into the operating room. There, that's when they prepped me for the surgery. They gave me my epidural in my back. The lady, the anesthetist, she actually stuck me twice. She stuck me the first time, and she's like, don't jump. What you mean, don't jump? You sticking a thick behind needle in my back. Something I've never experienced before. How I'm not supposed to jump? And it's just reflexes. Like, it's reflexes. So I guess she missed the spot. She took it out and went back into another spot. I still had the same reaction, but she got it. I don't understand talking about don't jump. But they laid me down. They made sure that the epidural that it distributed properly. They took I'm not sure what it was, but it was a very sharp object. They poked my legs and poked my arms and asked me if I can feel anything. I can feel it, but it's like a numb, dull feeling. So instinct, I said yes, but I really didn't feel anything. So after that, the 2 doctors came in. They cut me open. They were doing what they do. And that's when they called in my husband. I guess they wanted to cut me open before he got there so he wouldn't say anything. Maybe they're thinking he's gonna fall out or something. But they called him in after they cut me open. And while he was in there, they told us no recording, which sucks because it's weird, but I would want to record that. I would want to see everything. I want to see me cut open. I want to see them taking out the baby. I would want to cherish that, but unfortunately we were not able to record. So my husband was just watching, letting me know everything that was going on, because they have a sheet over me, over my face, so I can't see anything. Well, not really over my face, but in front of my face, like this. Feel all the movements. Nothing hurts because I'm numb, but I can feel all the movements, and it just feels so weird. Like they're moving around my organs and all of that stuff. My husband was telling me too. So like it's just so weird. But maybe 5 minutes into it, they pulled him out, and he was way deep down there. They pulled him out, and he was a big boy. He really was a big boy. But he wasn't as big as they was making it out to seem. Like he was already 9-10 pounds. He was only 7 pounds 14 ounces. That may be big compared to most, but it's not as big as what they were saying. When they pulled him out, the umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck, not once, but twice. So that is the reason why he was in such distress. The cord was wrapped around 2 times. So I thank God every day that I made the decision to have a C-section, because if I pushed 9 times out of 10, he would not be here right now. It was wrapped around 2 times. But thank God that that's the route that I decided to take. They took the cord off of his neck, and then he started crying, and then I started crying, and it was just such a memorable moment. After that, they took him over to the scale, wiped him down, weighed him, got the time. And after that, they took the baby and my husband into the triage room that I was in prior. And I stayed in there so they could put everything back together and to close me back up. They actually used glue. I was not stitched up. I was glued. which I'm grateful for, because the pain after having a C-section is terrible. It's terrible. I'll tell you that now. It's terrible. So to have to go back and get stitches removed, stitches or staples. It wasn't going down like that, but thank God I did get glued, and the doctor did a really good job. The scar is very slight, not really noticeable. The doctor did a good job. But after they closed me back up, they pushed me back over to the room. And in the room, when I got back, was, of course, my husband and the baby, and along with my parents. A part that I did miss earlier is when the doctors came in and told me that I would most likely have to do an emergency C-section. When they left the room and let me and my husband think about it, I called my mom immediately because I was scared out of my mind. Even though I already knew that that's what I wanted to do, I was still scared. So I called my mom, and my mom, being so old-fashioned and Haitian, like, I knew that these doctors don't know what they're doing. You should have never got induced. You should have just let it happen naturally. Blah, blah, blah. She was not making it any better. She was not making it any better. Like, all my nerves was all over the place, and she didn't make it any better. But once I got off the phone with her and my dad rushed down to the hospital. So after the baby was born and I went back into the room, my parents were there. My husband, his dad even came. I was very tired. They weren't even there for that long, but I really was not even up for company. I was cold, a side effect of the epidural. You get really cold, really chilly. I had the blanket over me. I was shaking. I was so cold. But after that, I just enjoyed my little bundle of joy. I was still in shock that I'm actually somebody's mother. It didn't register. It didn't register that I was actually somebody's mother until after I left the hospital and we brought him home. That's when it registered. We're home by ourselves. There's no nurses waiting on us hand and foot. That's when it really hit me. But to this day, that's still my little man. He is a very energized, wild little boy. He is all over the place, into everything, screaming to the top of his lungs. He is something else, but I love him. I would show him, but he is sleeping at the moment, so I'll just insert some pictures at the end of the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Please look out for my next videos to come. And if you have any recommendations on what videos you would like to see from me, please comment down below and let me know what it is, and I will promise to make it happen. Thanks for watching.